Episode 5 Rendezvous at Skull Rock. That day the mother had found a picture book of arches and showed the child what the keystone was, and the impost, and many of the other hard words that make up Arky and the other arches. The keystone is the most important piece of an arch, she explained. That is why it is the key to keeping the structure from falling down. Arches can take all kinds of heavy loads from above, but if the keystone fails, all will collapse. That night the child was ready to begin the adventure and did not need to be reminded that the metal tube that fell from the skies was the beginning of it all. Arky stood for a time, examining the metal cylinder that had fallen in front of him, but it was Beta that finally bent over to pick it up. "It's a communique canister, Arky," he exclaimed. Across the top of the tube was written in small print, "To be opened only by the authorized recipient." "That must be you, Arky," he said, "since it landed at your feet." Then he proceeded to unscrew the cap. "Beta!" Ify exclaimed. "That should be opened by Arky." But Beta had already opened the tube. "I'm sure it doesn't matter, Ify," Arky replied. And as they watched, Beta extracted a long banner of cloth that was covered with writing. Excitedly, the three friends read the message. "Letter for Arky Arch. Be at Skull Rock tonight at sundown. Do not fail me. Do not stop for anything. Signed, Uncle Trajan." "Oh my gosh, Arky," gasped Ify. "It's really a message for you from your uncle. He's in trouble." Arky Arch studied the gold cloth strip with the blue writing. "Woohoo! It's a royal communique, all right," he concluded. "My uncles use them when they're far apart. Uncle Trajan is the strongest of them all. If he's in trouble, then all the archers are in danger." "We'll come with you, Arky," offered Beta. "We can be of good use, right, Ify?" "We won't let you go off on your own anyway, Arky. It's too dangerous. Let's meet at the edge of town just before it's time. Skull Rock is not too far if we don't get stopped by the city gate guards." The school was closing, so the three friends parted ways and went home under turbulent skies. Arky kept the banner message inside his entablature. Not even his friends knew the many things he hid there. He was careful to put the message away when no one was around. The night was coming on fast as the three adventurers met at Skull Rock, just outside the city wall. Small inanimati like them could slip past the guards unnoticed, but it was risky nonetheless. Wolves and wild things roamed outside in the dark woods, hunting los superflui, and anything was welcome prey to them. A dark field of grass and weeds stretched in front of Skull Rock like a velvet blanket. Beta was having problems moving through it as his blades became entangled in the foliage. "I wish my great-aunt Thrasher was here. She is a combine harvester and would know how to deal with this jungle," he complained. "Shh! Quiet, Beta!" Ify hissed at him. The young inanimati crouched beneath the stone bonehead. Arky wished he had a light with them and suddenly remembered something. "Oh, shucks! I left my backpack Zyno in the classroom." Ify shook her tower. "Too late to get it now, Arky. I think I feel something happening." Slowly, the breeze began to stir, and within minutes a crackle of electric sparks was seen tracing spidery lines in the dancing air. The breeze turned to a gusting blast of cold air, forcing Beta to wind his blades back into the grass, and Ify to spread her thin pylons as far apart as she could for stability. Even Arky had to lean into the blasting air, not to be pushed over. "Woohoo! It's the chronoflux!" shouted Arky above the wailing wind. "My uncles can ride that to anywhere and any time." As if in response, a glow of light hovered about them, and with a bright flash, a ring of towering triumphal arches appeared from out of nowhere all around them. They hovered a moment in the air, and then the 7 great stone structures dropped as one into the hard soil of the field with a loud and dusty crash. The three friends stood up and were seen by the giant triumphal arches. "Arky," the tallest one called, "you made it. Who are your companions?" "Hello, Uncle Trajan," Arky responded. "These are Ify and Beta, my friends who've come with me to help. What can we do?" The ring of arches suddenly closed in on them, and the large arch bent over and looked at the three friends skeptically. It walked a circle around them as if trying to assess the situation. Beta and Ify moved in response, keeping Arky between themselves and the gigantic arch. Suddenly, it rose back on its legs and called out a command to its brethren. Stand fast, arch bloodlines. I perceive them to be true souls in our course, and must be allowed to join our messenger on his journey. Messenger? The young companion said in one voice. Woohoo! Added Arky enthusiastically and a bit too loud. They all stared at him, so he quietly said, woohoo? Trajan nodded as he knelt down beside them. Yes, Arky, it is so. I have called you to join us because only an arch small enough to pass through the lines of the enemy can be of service. Your friends can help. You must excuse our caution, but even the communique tube we sent you was chased by enemy agents. Arky remembered the screeching shadow and nodded. The war with the Gothics is going badly, nephew. Our centuries of training as Arky Romani are of no use against this enemy. Golgothicus has allied himself with thousands of clay blocks who obey his every command. They appear on the battlefield in the night as a simple structure. We thought it a ruse, but every skirmishing squad sent into it never returned. When daylight came, instead of this building were a row upon row of enormous walls of these bricks, called muri. Our forces were overwhelmed. Mindless masses of marching masonry, eh? Said Beta to Iphi. Shh, she hissed back. Be quiet and listen. The big archers floated again, taking up guard positions around Trajan as he moved closer to Arky. He offered another metal tube to him. Take this, nephew, Trajan was saying. I will load you with the battle plans for our coming conflict with the Gothics. On the other side of time and space, the reserve legions of Colosseo Pompeii stand ready to aid us. You must travel to them with this information and bring them into the conflict at just the right time and place. Too soon, and they will be destroyed by Golgothicus. Too late, and we ourselves may no longer be there to meet them. Arky turned away from the others to hide this metal tube with the other. He was thrilled to be called upon to such an important assignment. How will we get there? He asked. I don't know how to handle the chronoflux myself. My trusted assistant will guide you, Trajan explained, and a shiny metal block made of strangely scored metal bars appeared from between his columns to float in front of the giant triumphal arch. This is Calculus Piegatus, who comes from a line of devices that are one of the oldest family in the realm of the Inanimati. Arky and his friends watched in amazement as the metal block glowed in the dim light, hovering in front of Trajan. Then, with a buzz of clicking sounds, the metal bars unfolded into a series of strange shapes right in front of them. Calculus Piegatus will be your guide through the chronoflux, Trajan continued, as the bars came together to make a perfect star shape. You must be careful in how you deal with... Trajan never got a chance to finish explaining, because at that moment a loud "Rrrk" pierced the glowing darkness and a flapping black stone dragon sailed into their midst. It lunged at Calculus Piegatus, attempting to grab the glowing bars in its beak as the archers jumped back in surprise. A gargoyle, exclaimed Trajan. The enemy is near. These vile things perch with the Gothics. It's trying to steal Calculus. I'll save it, shouted Beta as he lunged at the star that was still floating in the air before them. Get away, you devil bat, shouted Arky, dodging a swipe of the slashing claws and blocking its lunges with his body. Help him, Iphi! The evil-looking gargoyle had managed to grab the star shape in its beak, but Beta was holding fast onto the shape in front of it. The star shape was quickly being deformed into another shape, the joints clicking angrily at the struggling combatants tugging at it. Wait, exclaimed Trajan. Don't allow it to be forced into a circle. But that is exactly what was happening to Calculus Piegatus. First it became a pointed box, then a spiral. At each change it clicked louder and grew shinier and seemed to actually glow with a light of its own from within. The gargoyle was pulling at it hard. It was almost a circle now. Hold on, Beta, Iphi called, and she twisted like an eel between the thrashing bodies. The slender little tower entwined herself about Beta's legs just as he was being pulled into the new shape that Calculus Piegatus was becoming. With a crash, the stone dragon was knocked loose from the metal bars by a mighty blow from Trajan. A second large arch had broken its tail with a stomp of its pedestal. It flopped off into the darkness, screeching. Calculus Piegatus had just reached the shape of a seven-sided ring when it snapped free from the giant bat-like stone monster. Beta toppled backwards over Iphi into Arky, pulling it with him over their heads. For a split second, the glowing bars hovered above them, its clicks becoming a buzzing sound that grew louder until with a final woohoo from Arky and a metallic snap from Piegatus, all three friends and the metal bars vanished into the darkness. What happened to them? The child asked. As you have heard, they vanished, the mother replied. Like this, and she clapped her hands together. But where did they go when they vanished? The child insisted. The mother tucked the covers in again around her child, as she did every night before turning off the light. You'll recall that Arky said the inanimati could move through time and space. Sometimes it's not a question of where, but of when, she replied, and with that kissed her child good night and left the room in darkness.